So here's a quick collage of shots. We got the establishing shot. We see the building, and then we've got the two shot, the guy below it. See there, we've got him and his piece of paper, both equally important, balancing off the frame. And then we've got the long shot going down the hallway. That's almost an extreme long shot, like the bird's eye view below it. And then down in the lower right, we see a high angle shot. So if we're in a horror movie mode, we'd be the monster, they'd be the victim. The low angle shot would be us, the victim, looking at the monster. Victim's point of view, the other one being a monster's point of view. And then here's a close-up, obviously. And over the shoulder, we'll talk about some more, but over the shoulder, is somewhat of a two-shot. But what it does is when we use it in a reverse shot, it makes us part of the dialogue. We got an eye line between two people, and reverse back and forth between shooting over their shoulders, and it gets us to establish a kind of matching imagery for editing. And also add some depth, because the foreground shoulder gives us something that will separate us from the background, and then we've got the green screen in the further background. So it's a good example of depth. And here's more camera shots and angles, just to be redundant. We got the establishing, the wide, which would be the long shot, the medium, the close-up, medium, cutaway. They mentioned cutaway here, and cutaway is a shot that we shoot when we're going from in our story from action to action bit, and we need to have the audience look at something else before we go back to the action, because maybe we made a continuity error, or we want to change a location, so we have a cutaway shot to birds on a wire or a clock or something. Here's a high angle. This is the assassin view shot, and the low angle victim view shot, extreme close-ups, two shots. Worm's eye view again, if we're the victim. Bird's eye view if we're ready to bomb these people. Over the shoulder, reverse shot of over the shoulder, seeing how that works when we do the dialogue. So once we're over her shoulder in the red, and then over his shoulder, looking at the red, we can see how it balances off in a dialogue. So back to Psycho and Janet Leigh. She's driving away here. Let's look at a sequence of shots, how shot composition might work if we're editing together. We got this extreme long shot, car driving down the road, and a cop car pulling up behind the car to pull it over. And then we go to setup B here, and that's more like a long shot. And what we've done is we've opened the frame. Now there's closed frame and open frame. Now this is an example of an open frame, meaning that something is bleeding off the frame, and we assume or almost feel its presence off the frame. It isn't tightly enclosed. And so this cop walking towards the car, we feel her to our left, although we don't see her, so that when he approaches the car, we'll be, ready to be from her point of view. And setup D is looking in the window of a car. That's more of a closed space, because there's nothing that's bleeding off the frame left or right. So that's what we call a closed frame as opposed to an open frame. So in setup E, we've got the cop looking in. Now that's a close-up of the cop looking in. And then there's setup G, where the close-up of Janet looking back. And so they're matching shots for the edit. And then we have in setup H, a medium close-up, where we're just below her shoulders looking up at him looking over his shoulder. And in setup I would be another, almost a cowboy shot, because it's his waist up. Going back to setup K, where we've got a medium close-up. So that's the way we, say, but that's the way we write all the shots in the script, and then the editor would pluck them out. Here, let's look at the birds, another one of Hitchcock's movies, and let's see how cutting from different shots establishes the rhythm of a movie. We get the bird shot 30. We have the cars suddenly on fire because the gas station's caught fire, and then we've got Tippi Hedren in 32 reacting in what? A medium close-up, and then we've got the extreme long to a long shot in 32. Things burn, and then we've got the medium close-up becoming more and more close-up in shot 33, and then another long shot in 34, and then medium close-up and becoming a close-up in 35, and then an extreme long shot of fire, and then close-up in 37, long shot, and then close-up in 39. And then we have this extreme long shot of the fire and the city. But what's important about that long shot is that it goes from a long shot to, or extreme long shot, it goes from an extreme aerial view long shot, and then it cuts to a long shot. And in that long shot, we see the birds coming in. So it's not, and this is what's wonderful about Hitchcock is he's got the fire, which is terrifying enough, but what's more terrifying is the birds that slowly slip into the frame coming down into the parking lot. Wonderful shot. And there's her reaction, Tippy's reaction, realizing it's not about the fire anymore. It's about those birds in the negative space in the upper right corner of this rule of thirds that she's worried about in the background. So we've got this nice wide angle shot here. So she's really close to us in the foreground with her close up, and in the background we have the birds coming, and a kind of a long shot, a wonderful frame piece of work. And so this week we want to, of course, match the shot of my actress coming in the door of the house that's going to have its own horrific revelation. And so we can look at different movies like The Awakening here. Here's a woman coming in. We see her coming in, and you to match what an interior of a house will be in the sense of probably a medium shot. So here's kind of a medium close-up. Here's another look at another medium close-up, only that she's looking up stairways here in Awakening. And here's Nicole Kidman and the others in a medium shot, a medium long shot, almost down to her knees. But you see the hallway there. There's this light in the stairs in the background. There's the dark door. If we start thinking of shots like this for our actress as she enters the house, we can then choose shots from our medium shots to our close-ups to give us an idea of what we want to see that will disturb us the most. Here we need to see the hallway, the context, but I think the best example for me here would be Lincoln. And this, to me, is a spooky shot. Of course, it's supposed to presage his assassination and everything, so it's relatively spooky. It's dark. But look at the hallway, the way it's lit. It's very dimly lit, and he dominates the hallway. But I imagine him in this shot, if we didn't know the context of the story or what the story is about. This is a great shot of someone entering a haunted house.